Ravens at Chiefs. Donnie, this game will also be one of the games that we will spend a little bit of extra time on. Open Chiefs -7.5. Now some -7s, but mostly 6.5s. And bookmaker hanging a 6. Total opened at 53.5. Now 53s across the board. Ravens turn in a dominating defensive performance, limiting Atlanta to its fewest yards in 20 years. Baltimore held the Falcons to 131 total yards. Unbelievable. A nearly 2-to-1 edge in time of possession. Limited what we thought was a somewhat dangerous offense. I mean, there was questions about how dangerous they are. There were cappers in the chat saying, look at the scores they'd put up. You also mentioned, look at the scores that they'd put up the last few weeks. And maybe it's just a vividness bias that I think this Falcons offense is still that offense that led them all the way to the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson making his third straight start, first on the road, completed just 12 of 21 passes for 121 yards, but again, damage with his leg, 17 for 75, including a 13-yard scoring run. Gus Edwards got over the ankle injury, looked good, 82 yards on 21 carries. Now this Kareem Hunt situation is hopefully behind the Chiefs, but they barely beat the Raiders. His replacement, Spencer Ware, 14 for 47 yards, just 1 TD. Mahomes, though, keeps rolling, 23 for 38 for 4 TDs. Kelsey, dominant, 12 catches for 168 yards, But Tyreek Hill, just 1 catch for 13 yards. Their defense against a very bad Raiders football team allowed 442 yards, 271 through the air, 171 on the ground. Is the Chiefs' defense become a red flag? And, Donnie, is the Chiefs' defense much better at Arrowhead, so we don't need to worry already? David Stewart says Chiefs at home. And then Abba Zabba, Chiefs cover. David Stewart, give me the Chiefs at 6.5. Donnie, should we have red flags moving forward with this Chiefs team?
I think there's somewhat red flags. I don't think you could get a true gauge last week, Jimmy, because it was so fresh with Kareem Hunt going in and out. They played at Oakland. There was never a time in that game, I don't think, where we felt threatened, where the Kansas City Chiefs were going to lose to the Oakland Raiders. They end up, I believe they didn't cover the point spread in that game. But now you get home to Arrowhead, and you're going to face a really formidable opponent. But your original question, I think the Chiefs are still a really good football team. And, as long as you have Mahomes, Andy Reid dialing it up, Tyreek Hill, and Kelsey over the middle, that's going to be a tough team, especially playing at Arrowhead. The one team that I've gotten wrong more than any other team this year, Jimmy, has been the Baltimore Ravens. It seems like when I think they're in a good spot and I take them, where it would be when they were on the road against the Carolina Panthers, they almost no-show that football game. Now, a lot went right for the Carolina Panthers in that game, but I really like the Atlanta Falcons this week, saying, you know what, let's go into this football game. I think Atlanta would be able to muster up enough offense to win. Lamar Jackson doesn't really throw the ball, not necessarily a true quarterback. And Lamar Jackson threw for 120-some-odd yards, which is, if you would have told me before the game, yes, Atlanta should be able to pull that out. But what I didn't fail to realize is every once in a while, Baltimore is going to throw up that old school defense that no matter what you do on offense, unless you make terrific play after terrific play, they are going to shut you down and live in your backfield. And that's what they did. And what's brewing in Baltimore here for me, Jimmy, you have a lot of experience now for Lamar Jackson. I want Joe Flacco to come back, because I think if somehow Marty Mornhinweg, the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, can integrate even more Lamar Jackson in, let's just say if there's 70 plays in a football game on offense for the Ravens, if you almost have like a 50-50 split where Flacco comes in where, you need to throw the ball, like if you're on your own 25-yard line and the game's tied or you're down by a couple points, he can maybe move it downfield, but you're going to get a lot of packages in here that Lamar Jackson, they found Gus Edwards, everything is working well. And let's not forget, 5.1 yards per carry, Jimmy, that the Kansas City Chiefs do give up. This is an awesome game to take a look at and try to get ahead of.
I think it's an extremely exciting game. Vital is saying, don't like Kansas City at home. DT Doug says Baltimore might make things difficult for KC. I want to play an under 53, scary in Chiefs games, though. What do you think of this total? Is this a total that we could get under?
I mean, again, if we're looking at just Lamar Jackson and the way he's going to play football and the way that offense operates, there's not a lot of big plays, but there's a lot of yardage plays out there. And what I mean by that is when you run the read option and you have a physical offensive line against a team that doesn't stop the run altogether, that's going to lead to a lot of first down runs, which makes it like 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4, a lot of second down runs, which you can get the first down or maybe you're a yard short, and a lot of third down runs. So what I'm trying to say here is that clock is always going to be moving because, yes, they're going to pull some punches. They're going to throw deep from time to time. But if you watch that all, Jimmy, in that game versus the Atlanta Falcons, there was a couple plays that were very easy pitch and catches for 30 and 40-yard gains down the field for Lamar Jackson that he completely missed and whiffed on. That's the dilemma I'm having right now, because the way I watch the Baltimore Ravens operate on defense, you're saying right now, if you're giving them 7, I want to take it because their defense is nasty and they're able to move the football. But those plays that are so easy to make, which you have to make in the NFL for your team to be successful, he's not making them yet. So it's one of those teams I don't have a true grasp on how effective they can be, because now, look, you say what you want, Jimmy. They beat the Oakland Raiders, the Atlanta Falcons, and before that was the Cincinnati Bengals. 3, teams that are a little bit roughshod right now, not playing great football. You're going to have to score points and keep up, because I don't know if the Baltimore Ravens can say, you know what, Kansas City, you're holding you to 17 this weekend.
Was the Ravens defense spectacular, or was the Falcons offense horrible?
No, it was, and again, that's why I liked Atlanta, and I can't say that I was completely wrong. And you could tell right away in the first quarter. I thought they would score enough points in that game, but that defense, Jimmy, how you can tell a defense is overmatching teams. You even watch it sometimes with the Dallas Cowboys right now with their front 4. When they're living in your backfield, like when you hand the football off and your running back is literally juking guys 3 yards into the backfield, they were absolutely amazing all game long in that. And I was just so impressed. I was so impressed by the Baltimore Ravens. I can't say I wasn't.
And what do you think they can do? I know we have to move on, but do you see them being able to conjure that up against this Chiefs team?
I do. And the reason being, Jimmy, is you can run the football on the Kansas City Chiefs. And look, if you come up against a staunch defense, let's just say if it's real quick here, when we'll move on, like the Houston Texans, I don't really think you can just run read option against that front 4 and those linebackers and say, we're going to have a lot of success. But you had a couple really good matchups here, and another really good matchup for Lamar Jackson and the Gus Edwards of the world to run the football against. It's lining up pretty well for them. I think, if I'm looking right now and I got to make a play on this early in the week, give me the 7 right now with the Baltimore Ravens. I was that impressed.
Yes. I think that is where I'm leaning right now. And I'm also leaning to possibly the Ravens being able to keep this game under, possibly.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.